But I think what's really cool about EDM is it's so different from any other genre. Electronic music just stands out to me because it seems so out there.
Electronic music, there's so many different combinations of what can be done, and like boundaries are just continually being pushed because it's computers.
Like Cascade is he's a huge producer. He always alludes it to like the starting of rock and roll and how all these music festivals are kind of like Woodstock and how those generations are kind of resurging with this whole electronic music movement. I just think it's so cool because it's got a really different vibe than most like pop music or something that you would hear on the radio. It's just got so many different ways you can go. There's so many different styles and different genres. It's like never ending, I swear.
There's so many people that just think that anything electronic is dubstep, and that's actually not true at all. There are a lot of subgenres of EDM, similar to different genres of other types of music, like how pop and country and rap are all different. Different artists generally will stick to their focus point, which is their main genre that they create, but there are a lot of other people that just kind of vary and they make whatever they feel. Dubstep is kind of like a slower feel, and a lot of the sounds are much grungier. Skrillex, I guess, would be an example of a lot of the stuff he makes is dubstep. Genre that is similar to dubstep would be trap, and this is actually kind of getting quite popular. Trap is basically instrumental rap, so rap music without the words, but people are definitely making it more creative than that.
Yeah, trap music is really being driven by some artists like DJ Snake got huge with his Turn Down for What track, and that's like a really good example of a trap song. I mean, that kind of stuff is slowly kind of making its way into the rap hip-hop scene, with like artists like 2 Chainz and DJ Snake, obviously. They're all kind of getting into this more hard instrumental kind of style, and that's really just rooting from old school hip hop and old school house, actually, and it's kind of transformed into this completely different thing where it's just hard hitting, really simplistic rap beats but without lyrics.
House music is probably the most popular subgenre of EDM.
The big thing about house is it's got a really big 4 on the floor kick, and that's really what just like drives the entire track. I mean, there's so much more that people have done from progressive house, where it's this entire huge sweeping melody that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger as the entire track goes on. Whether it's electro house, which is more along club lines, where it kind of has a melodic section and then into more of a hard-hitting section. And then you've got, deep house and tech house, which is really big in like the European dance scene. House music is so broad, there's about 1,000 things that defines it.
Another subgenre of EDM would be glitch hop, and that is one of my personal favorites because it's one of the most unique and there's not a lot of people doing it. Well, it's more shuffled, so like it's not a straight, consistent note space, it's more shuffled. And it's slower because it's meant to have that kind of slow feel. Glitch hop normally has aspects of like jazz in it, and funk, because funk is actually glitch hop is a close descendant of actual funk music. Another subgenre of EDM would be drum and bass. Like it's dubstep, but with double the time per beat. So instead of half time, it's just fast. It's just crazy. That's the only way I can describe it. Another subgenre of EDM would be moombahton. It's basically like slow down house, but then they incorporate actually like Latin feels. They use Latin percussion a lot, but then they go for kind of whoopy, high-pitched kind of sense like trap would go for. It's really cool because it incorporates it incorporates the entire culture. It's more Latin, it's more Spanish kind of feel. If you listen to Spanish and Latin music, it would sound similar to moombahton, just moombahton's like an electronic version of that. It's quite, it's intense, and it's crazy, but at the same time, it's kind of magical because the music and the colors and all of the aspects of the show, when done well, when they come together, like provide this experience that's like indescribable. And so there's artists that have huge teams that are just responsible for doing artwork and visuals, and some artists have massive screens and lights and colors, and everything are amplified way more than they would in a normal live artist or a normal like live concert. The production guys are the ones that will create the visuals. They are the ones that create the colors, and they will coordinate everything because they are the literal organizers of that. But the artists always will collaborate with them to create the experience that they intended in their work. And that's what I think is really special, because it's a collaboration of a musical genius and like a production genius in things. But like with a computer, you can make any sound you ever could want, and so there's way more emotion and way more uniqueness to each person that creates the music, because there's so much more aspects that can be added. Another great thing about EDM shows is the crowd feeling. Artists and EDM DJ feeds off of the crowd vibe and how they're reacting to what he's playing, or the lights, or how they're reacting to the show. When people are loving the music, when you're loving the music, when other people are loving the music, and everybody is just so into it and passionate about what is going on, there's just a sense of unity that comes to the place. That's where the experience comes from. It's a combination of the actual production and what the artist and the emotions that are put into that, and then the crowd unity and how they react. And when the crowd's going wild, the feeling is just awesome.
Yeah, DJing is, it's such a combination of so many things that, to be a good DJ, it really takes a good read of the crowd. And on top of that, you just have to have the skills and song selection to be able to please any situation. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy to be able to get so, consumer-minded that you can get into the head of who's on the dance floor or who's in the crowd or wherever you may be, so that you're pleasing not only, the teenager that's there, but also the person, maybe if you're doing a wedding reception, you have to be able to please, the 30-year-olds, the 50-year-olds, So it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of time to be able to really fill out a well-rounded and yet still kind of unpredictable set.
Well, I think the first one that comes to mind would be Skrillex. A lot of people know of him or heard like Scary Monsters and whatever his old tunes were, but that's how he got super popular, was that.
I love this music. I love all types of music, and when your platform of making music happens to be your computer, you tend to make music, like dance music, and that's kind of what I gravitated towards.
My favorite artist is Skrillex. Not because he's popular, but because I actually think he's extremely talented. Zed, Clean Clarity, kind of went pretty big, and he's also done some stuff behind the scenes. He's produced for Lady Gaga and Justin Bieber. Zed is very marketable. He's doing a lot of things with a lot of different people. He's doing a lot of things with pop artists. He also scored a movie.
I can only say that festivals in the US are one of the best things for a DJ or producer, because people are just really there to have an amazing time. There's nothing like, no bad feelings. Everyone's happy. Everyone knows that if they are in a bad mood, it doesn't help them. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help anyone. So everyone's just happy and has a great time. So that's phenomenal.
But Noisia is one of those really, really crazy kind of production pairs that they came out of nowhere, out of some no-name town and had no influences at all, and they suddenly came up with this new style that kind of formed. It was kind of like a fusion of dubstep and drum and bass, and it started this huge revolution of like dirty bass music. I think one of the reasons why EDM is getting so popular is a lot of huge house and like trap producers specifically are really crossing over into a pop space. KDWB is playing so many like kind of Zed type Avicii crossovers, and it's really kind of like making its way into modern pop music. So I think that's really where a lot of people are kind of starting to get on the bandwagon, as we say.
Yeah, some artists will collaborate with pop artists so that they can not only make themselves more marketable, but they also incorporate their feel into pop artist music, and I think that's cool to watch that happen. It's happening more and more.